Yeah, very good evening.
Good evening, Chitwa sir. This is Ashwini from Sasi Institute.
Yeah. I could recognize you. Yeah,
Yes.
nice to meet you virtually.
So it is happy to introduce you. So Dr. B. Chittibabu received a PhD degree in electrical engineering from National Institute of Technology, Roorkela, India in 2012. He was an assistant engineering, National Institute of Technology, Roorkela, India from 2007 to 2013. He had postdoctoral research appointments with the Wrocław University of Science and Technology, Poland during 2013 to 14 and with VSB Technical University of Ostrava, Czech Republic during 2014 to 15. Both of these appointments were sponsored by European Commission, UK. He was an assistant professor in Faculty of Engineering, University of Nottingham, UK, Malaysia campus from September 2016 to June 2018. Since June 2018, he has been assistant professor in Indian Institute of Information Technology, Design and Manufacturing, Kanchipuram, Chennai, India. Dr. P. Chittibabu serves as an editorial board member, associate editor for many peer-reviewed journals, including IEEE Access, IET Renewable Power Generation, IET Power Electronics, IET Energy System, sections on Electrical Energy System, John Valley, Electrical Engineering, Springer, Energy Sources, Part A, Teller and Francis, Automatica, Teller and Francis. He was a recipient of Young System Scientist Award in 2019, sponsored by System Society of India and IEEE Madras Section Best Researcher Award 2020, sponsored by IEEE Madras Section. His current research interests include power electronic applications in smart distribution grids containing renewable energy sources, design of low power photovoltaic system including MPPT algorithm, control and grid integration of renewable energy systems. So on behalf of IEEE, PES, PLS and IAS joint chapter Vizag section, we heartfully welcome you, sir. So over to Sandeep, sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity.
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Ashwin, for introducing the speaker to the audience. And now I request Dr. Chittibabu sir to take over the session now.
Yeah, is it screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, very good evening to Unadal. And very thank you very much, Dr. Sandeep, so who has invited me for delivering an expert lecture in this particular area. And as it has been associated with IEEE Vizag based subsection. And to thank you, Dr. Sandeep. I think it's been a long time, so we met virtually. Still, our meeting is like a virtual only because we never met each other in physical mode. So still, we are meeting virtually, and still we have a good relationship as well as the networking. And even I could find few participants, Dr. Apala Naidu, and I think who is a faculty at NIT Andhra Pradesh. And I am associated with Dr. Apala Naidu through Dr. Arya, and our collaborations and networkings are also doing good. And also, I could find the Dr. Idara, Haswani Idara. I met him at Sasi Institute of Technology as I given an expert lecture for IEEE student chapter. Yeah, dear participants, please mute your audio. Yeah, thank you again, Dr. Sandeep. And this is my research, the area of research, what I'm doing currently with my team at IIITTM Kanchipuram, Chennai. Especially I'm working on the investigation on the advanced control strategies for grid-tied solar photovoltaic system. I have developed a 1 kilowatts grid integrated solar photovoltaic system sponsored by SERB DST with the cost of 35 lakhs. And under my supervision, the 4 research scholars are actively working in this area, including the grid synchronization and control and grid integration of solar PV system, and including maximum power point tracking. And moreover, I have an excellent contribution as well as the collaborations with SVNIT Surat and NIT Jaipur and NIT Warangal, even NIT Andhra with Dr. Sandeep. So with that, the networking and the collaborations are very important. So with that, Dr. Sandeep has invited me to deliver an invited lecture for this, IEEE Vizag base section. Hope the participants and will get benefit out of it, because still many of the research scholars and early career researchers, they're unable to define and identify the problem in the area of grid integrated solar photovoltaic system. Still many people, they feel the area is quite exhausted, and now the trend is going towards the electrical vehicle and energy storage and a smart grid. But still this is one of the very emerging and hot cake in the area of electrical power and energy systems. So with these motivations, and we are actively working in this area. And the presentation outline includes renewable energy in Indian scenario, and that's the key motivation, that as we are all Indians, we work towards to meet the future energy demand to mitigate the global warming. As all of us know that the global pandemic, it's made our life miserable, and I don't know how this young generation they survive in the next century with these CO2 emissions and the strong climate change and global warming. So in order to mitigate the global warming and the CO2 emissions, the effort has been taken by the government, not only in India, across the globe, to minimize the CO2 emissions. And moreover, our the power demand or the future energy demand is drastically increasing with the usage of electronic utilities. So we are in a position to promote the renewable power generation system since the inception 2000, and the government has taken an initiative to promote as well as to install the renewable power generation unit in India, especially the large scale power generation units like a photovoltaic and wind energy conversion system. And with that, the objectives, I'm going to deliver a talk, including the objectives of the research. What our team has done the research. How we integrate 1 kilowatt grid integrated solar photovoltaic system. How the control algorithm has been developed. In that, we could be able to make kind of laboratory prototype. For experimental validation. And what are the different grid connection requirements are very essential to integrate the solar PV system with the utility grid, and how the subsystem and the control circuitries are designed that has been fabricated in the laboratory prototype, and how the control algorithm has been implemented in real time with the help of DS1104 microcontroller board, and how the hardware setup has been accelerated to validate the experimental results. And it has come up with certain observations in terms of simulation and experimental result, so that we can show the supremacy of the proposed control technique, and followed by certain references what we could find, and what we could find a gap in this particular area of research. The renewable energy in India, as I told you, that India is one of the countries with large production of renewable energy from the energy sources. So India is one of the third largest countries in terms of electricity consumers as well as the electricity producer. As of 30th September 2020, around 36% of the total installed capacity is from the renewable energy sources, excluding large hydro. Around 135 gigawatts out of 373 gigawatts of power by a renewable power generation, especially from the photovoltaic and the wind energy conversion system. And the target would be around 57% of the total installed capacity from the renewable energy sources by 2027, according to Central Electricity Authority, Government of India. As renewable energy sector, as far as the renewable energy sector is concerned, India is the fourth most attractive renewable energy market in the world, next to China, the US, and Canada. And India is ranked fourth in the wind power and fifth in the solar power, and the fifth in the renewable power installed capacity as of 2018. Now the scenario has been changed. Now 2000, as of October 2020, so our rank has been drastically increased. So we hold the top third rank in the solar power and the fifth rank in the wind power generation, according to the Renewable Energy Country Attractive Index by 2020. This is the installed capacity of renewable energy in India. As I told you that about 38,000 megawatts of power by wind power and 36,000 megawatts power by solar power out of 89,000 megawatts of total installed capacity as of September 2020. And as I told you, the target would be around 175 gigawatts of power by renewable energy sources by, after a couple of decades. A couple of years. So solar power in India is a fast developing industry. The country's solar installed capacity was about 36,000 megawatts as of September 2020. So anyone can understand that what is the practical implication and the importance of the solar photovoltaic system. In the subcontinent like India, not only in India, across the globe. As you visit Western countries, you can find that they invested a huge amount in terms of billion US dollar for installing photovoltaic power plant. As it is it is highly dominating wind power plants. As you can see, the installed capacity is almost comparable with the wind power plants. So especially this wind power generation and the solar power generation systems are large scale power generation unit. They can feed power to the utility grid in terms of megawatts level. That is what now slowly the solar power is completely dominating wind power. You can see that the wind power developments are almost stagnant since 2012. That almost the technology is completely well established for grid integrated wind power generation system. And still the problem associated with the solar power generation, especially on the grid integration. So that is what the researchers are actively working in this area to meet the grid connection requirements. So how to integrate the solar power generation with the utility grid? As all of us know, all the renewable energy sources are intermittent in nature. Due to the intermittent nature of the renewable energy sources, they can't be directly connected with the utility grid. In order to integrate such disposed or intermittent energy sources, we use power electronics converters. So with that, the main advantage why we promote your photovoltaic power generation, because it has a short lead time to design. It can be easily installed at a site, and you can start up a new plant. As recently in Karnataka, government has invested for around 2,000 megawatts of a new solar power plant in Karnataka. So it implies that the starting of a new plant is quite easy, that it doesn't have any movable part like a wind turbine. Unlike a wind turbine, so it can be easily installed in the site. It is highly modular, hence the plant economy is not a strong function of the size. And moreover, the power output well matches with the peak load demand. This is one of the extraordinary feature of using solar power generation system. It has exactly the bell-shaped characteristics during the peak load demand, especially during hot summer. It can exactly matches with such peak load demand. With that motivation, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, they have floated a call for research proposal from the young and dynamic researchers across India during 2012, hybrid energy systems. Combining wind power generation with photovoltaic power generation, it is an excellent choice for meeting the energy demand during base load as well as the peak load, because the wind turbines or wind energy conversion system is an excellent choice for meeting the base load, and solar photovoltaic system is an excellent choice for meeting the peak load. So throughout the year, we can combine both wind power along with the solar PV, so that it can have exact matches of meeting both base load as well as the peak load. And moreover, it has a very static structure. As I told you, it has a very static structure and it do not have any moving parts. Hence, it's a very clean and green power generation, and moreover, high power capability per unit of weight. It has a longer lifespan, and moreover, highly portable because of lightweight. So, with this all the advantages, it took the photovoltaic power generation is one of the most promising renewable energy source as of today. However, as it is the most promising renewable energy source, it is a very clean and green power generation system. But still, the power generation is highly intermittent in nature, because the solar photovoltaic simply we uses a silicon PN junction diode as a silicon solar cell. So when the photon or when the light energy is falling on the silicon PV diode, then there is an electron hole pair recombination, and hence it constitutes an electron flows due to electron flow, and again there is a current flow. that current can be collected by an external electrical load. So simply it converts photons into electrons and it works under the principle of photovoltaic effect. So obviously the concept is not new. That has been discovered by Henry Becquerel during 1869. So then it took almost a century to identify the key area to use such solar photovoltaic cells for energy harvesting. Now the scientists, they actively uses the solar photovoltaics for renewable power generation system. Even you can generate the power of the megawatts level by combining a large PV cells in series parallel combination. That is the way you can see the built-in integrated PV model is very popular in the Western countries as well. But as the input energy is a solar energy, as you might be knowing, solar energy is a universe of energy. You know, all the renewable energy sources are basically a byproduct of solar energy. Let's talk about the wind turbine. The kinetic energy of the wind is basically a byproduct of solar energy that can be converted into mechanical energy with the help of wind turbine. In the solar photovoltaic, the light energy is converted to electrical energy with the help of a silicon PN junction diode. So the input energy is a solar energy. Ultimately, it is a variable energy. It is then random in nature. It is intermittent in nature. It is always, it is uncertainty in the input energy. That is what the characteristic says. It is a stochastic nature of the energy. Due to the stochastic nature of the input power, the power which is being produced by a solar photovoltaic cells are not constant, right? Then output power is variable. That again, it depends on the input energy, what is called the light energy. The states of the light energy is described as solar irradiation and temperature. Due to variation of the solar irradiation and temperature, the output power is variable, and hence that power cannot be directly fed into the utility grid. And moreover, solar PV cells are basically a DC power source, as it generates a variable DC, and that cannot be fed into the that cannot feed power to the utility grid, as the grid is an AC component, right? Obviously, we need a power conditioning or the power conversion system, what is called a power electronics. With the help of the power electronics converters, as it provides an asynchronous interface to integrate a solar photovoltaic system with a utility grid, and hence there is a possibility of integrating. That is what is called grid integration of solar photovoltaic system. In such grid connected or grid integrated solar PV system, the key consideration is to design and operation of the power converters to achieve high efficiency for different power configuration. You know, design and active power converters to integrate a solar PV system with the utility grid is a great challenge with a high efficiency, because the input power is the input energy is variable, and hence the output power of the PV cell is also variable, right? So it cannot be directly connected. Even you can have a kind of very dedicated high performance power converter, still control is not, still the grid integration is not possible 100%, right? Obviously, the power system operator or transmission systems operator called DSO, they used to impose certain limits on the grid integration of solar PV system. That limits are basically imposed by either power generator or power system operator. So that limits are basically called the grid connection requirements or grid code compliances. They used to call GCC. That grid connection requirements of power converter that include a maximum power extraction. It is highly essential, as you know, that the solar energy conversion is a very poor quality energy conversion. You know, while you are converting light energy into electrical energy, the conversion efficiency is very poor. Even practical solar cell, it can't convert photons into electrons with even not even 20% efficiency. So in order to extract the maximum possible power, we propose a maximum power point tracking the technique to extract the maximum possible power from the PV array with the help of power electronics converters. That is the very first important requirement, so that we can minimize the running cost and high efficiency, as we use a power electronics converter, as it provides an asynchronous interface between solar PV and the utility grid. There is a possibility to transfer the energy from the solar PV to the utility grid at high transmission efficiency, and controllable power injected into the utility grid. This is very important that the output power of the PV is an uncontrolled DC, as it is going to be converted into controllable DC with the help of a DC to DC converter. And hence, the controllable DC power, again, it will be inverted into controllable AC. That controllable AC power can be controlled into injected into the utility grid. That AC power has an active as well as a reactive power component. Then active power component is very essential to maintain the frequency stable, and reactive power component is very essential to maintain the voltage profile constant. So in order to provide a frequency stability as well as a voltage stability, ultimately the powers which is being injected into the utility grid must be controllable. That is another important requirement. And moreover, while the power which is being injected into the utility grid, it has to be injected at a grid current which is sinusoidal. The current has to be injected at a sinusoidal rate. So it implies the harmonic index, what we uses in the electrical power system, what is called the total harmonic distortion. So the grid current should have a lower total harmonic distortion. And moreover, the requirements of the power converter, that the grid connection requirement should also satisfy a transient response of the grid. When the grid is subjected to a fault, or when the grid is subjected to abnormal condition like a grid fault or maybe a sudden change in load, still the converter is an excellent transient response. And moreover, grid synchronization is also very important component in order to implement a control algorithm on a particular grid side converter. So consequently, the performance of the converter connected to the utility grid, it depends largely on the control strategy applied. So in order to meet the grid connection requirements, the control strategy what we apply on the grid side converter is very essential. That control strategy can make it possible with the grid integration of solar PV with utility grid. That is what. So heart of the grid integration is basically the control strategy applied on a grid side converter. This is what the motivation. Most of the researchers are actively working on this particular area to integrate solar PV system with the utility grid by satisfying all these grid connection requirements. Whatever be the challenges in the today's power system, as you can see during 1980s, the classical power system as it uses, or traditional power system, it uses thermal or hydro power plant for energy, future energy demand. But now the scenario has been changed that as we promote renewable energy sources, or we promote an intermittent energy sources like wind power generation system and the solar photovoltaics. So now the conventional power generation system like a thermal and hydro, and again combined with the renewable energy generation system. So now the power system is become completely complex. So power system is basically, the power system is very complex in nature, electrically, mechanically, and thermally, and magnetically. It has a large number of parameters. And moreover, as far as control system concepts are concerned, power system is basically a higher order system. So, implementing a control strategy in a decoupled manner is very difficult in the traditional power system. That is what traditional power system is very complex in nature because of renewable energy generation. It is in line with the conventional power generation unit. So it has a highly coupled dynamics between the generation, transmission, and distribution. Due to the highly coupled dynamics of generation, transmission, and distribution, controlling the frequency and the voltage independent manner is very difficult. That is a very first challenge what we face today. Second, as we promote renewable power generation system, the renewable energy sources are basically a fragile power generation system. They do not have any inertia. So inertia is a very important component in electrical power system in order to damp out any oscillations occurs in the power system or in the transmission line internally or externally. It has to damp out the oscillations. As the renewable energy sources doesn't have any inertia, they're basically a fragile power generation system. Basically, they are inertialess system. The system stability is enabled by imposing very overwhelming, slow electrochemical dynamics of the sources. Let's talk about the fuel cells. If you use the fuel cells in power system, you know the dynamic response of the fuel cell is very sluggish. This is the another important difficulty and what we face in the today's power system. So we need to have a solutions in addition to the use of power electronics converter in order to provide decoupling or decoupled control between voltage and frequency component, because the voltage control is very essential to ensure the power system reliability, and the frequency control is essential to ensure the power system security. So both parameters have to be controlled independently with the help of active and reactive power control. In addition to that, you have to virtually provide an inertia to the system so that the system should have a sufficient inertia to damp out any oscillations or disturbances occurs in the utility grid, in addition to improve the dynamic response. For example, if you use the fuel cell, 20% change in load current, it causes 2 minutes to reach the steady state. That is what I told you. Fuel cells are a good choice for the steady state load, but the fuel cells are poor choice for dynamic loads because they do not have any inertia. So within these two important challenges, and still we focus on power electronics with the local forces focus. Especially we concentrate on load dynamics, as all of us know that the power electronics were emerged during 1970s or 1980s, especially for improving the load dynamics with the help of adjustable speed drives. As you might be knowing, 95% of the applications in the industry, we invariably use induction motor drive. In order to improve the dynamics of induction motor drive, we use power electronics. So power electronics converters mainly concentrate on the load dynamics to improve the motor drive's performance so that overall energy efficiency was possible. Today's situation, there is an evolving of source dynamics as well, because the sources are no more stagnant. Again, the sources are dynamic in nature. Let's talk about distributed generation, maybe a renewable power generation like a wind power generation or photovoltaic power generation system, or maybe a fuel cells, right? Basically, they are the distributed generation system. Virtually, they uses inertia with the help of energy storage unit as well. So there is an evolving focus on source dynamics as well. So what we use as power electronics converters today, it has to concentrate both on load dynamics as well as source dynamics. It is an important challenge for power electronics engineers today to solve the problem or to improve the dynamics of both load as well as source. Until now, only fixing the problem of power distribution. That is what we are trying to fix the problem. We are unable to find the solution because the important challenge of using power electronics in the today's power system is find the solution which is very cost effective. Still it is a challenging, it is challenging to find the economical solution. Good engineers are good economists, but still we are unable to find the solution which is very cost effective. That is what we are actively working in this area to have a very efficient solution which is very cost effective, and moreover increased efficiency as well. So power transfer capability that has to be enhanced with the help of power electronics converters, and moreover the control concept and what we uses in the power electronics converters based system, it has to ensure the decoupled control in order to have the improved dynamics of the energy sources as well as the distribution system and the loads through use of power electronics. So how you can improve the control with the help of decoupled dynamics to have an independent control of voltage and frequency. This is a very important challenging task. That is what we are all actively working to find the solutions in the today's power system, what is called the modern power system. This is the schematic of grid-tied solar PV system, as the PV array is composed of series parallel combination of the PV module, and again PV model is a series parallel combination of the PV cell. So PV cell is a small scale energy harvesting device. It generates the power in terms of milliwatts and watts level with a current of 25 milliampere with a voltage of 0.5 to 0.8 volt. By combining large number of cells in series parallel, we can form a PV module for a required power rating. Further, combined in series parallel of a PV model that become a PV array or a PV panel that can be installed on the site for electricity generation. So PV array, as it generates a DC power, as I said earlier that the input power to the PV is basically solar energy. The state of solar energy is described by solar irradiance and temperature. Then the output power and what we get is basically a DC power. Basically, it is a DC power. It has a PV current and PV voltage. As you might be knowing, the PV current or the output current of the PV, it largely depends on the solar irradiance. It has a linear relationship, whereas the PV output voltage, it has an inversely proportional to the temperature. So due to changes in irradiation and temperature, it affects the output power of the PV. So that uncontrollable DC power will be given to the power electronics converter that provide uncontrollable AC to the utility grid. So here the AC power is basically a controllable AC power. So how this power electronics converters, it ensure proper grid integration by satisfying the grid connection requirement. As I said earlier, grid connection requirements include active and reactive power control for frequency and voltage control and power quality, grid synchronization, excellent dynamic response. These all are important requirements. So in order to achieve the grid connection requirements, we use a controller. We are going to implement or we are going to design a very robust, very adaptive controller on this power electronics converter so that we can integrate a photovoltaic, solar photovoltaic with utility grid very successfully. So power electronics converters, it provides an asynchronous interface. Please remember that. So power converter plays an important role in controlling the power delivery, and at the same time it ensures proper integration between the solar PV and the utility grid. So the heart of grid-tied solar PV system is the power electronics converter and its control. This is the two-stage grid-tied solar PV system. As most of the researchers, we use a two-stage grid-tied solar PV system for having a good power flows between a solar PV and the utility grid. So it has a two-stage mean it has a DC to DC converter and a three-phase PWM voltage source inverter. In between there is a DC coupling. DC decoupling, what is called a DC link capacitor, as it provides a decoupling of a DC component. As the DC to DC converter, either it may be a boost converter or maybe a buck converter, maybe any configuration of DC to DC, it is interacting with source, and hence this is what is called a source side converter. The source side converter basically it transfer the power from solar PV to the DC link. So it transfer a DC power from solar PV to DC link. It is basically controllable DC. And moreover, the DC to DC converter is responsible for implementing a maximum power point tracking, because the maximum power point tracking is very essential in order to extract maximum possible power from the PV array, as the solar conversion efficiency is very low, right? And then the power which is available at the DC link capacitor is the DC. Again, that will be inverted into AC, which is being controllable. Then the controllable AC will be injected into the utility grid. Then virtually we have a point at which we connect a nonlinear unbalanced electronic load called the point of common coupling. So the point at which a nonlinear loads are connected at the utility grid, what is called the PCC. So as you know that as we connect a unbalanced nonlinear load at point of common coupling, as you might be knowing, as the nonlinear load is highly interacting with the utility grid, and hence there is a possibility of distortion of the grid current, and it causes power quality problem. We all are know, maybe an unbalanced nonlinear load, maybe a grid, diode bridge rectifier load, or maybe a thyristor rectifier load. Example, maybe a blast furnace, or maybe an adjustable speed drive. Once you connect such load at the point of common coupling, it interacts with the utility grid, and hence your grid current is distorted. And moreover, as a sudden increase in profile at the point of common coupling, that degrades. So we propose a control and this voltage source inverter in order to provide independent control of active and reactive power. Okay, independent control of active and reactive power. So reactive power control is very essential to maintain the grid frequency constant, Reactive power control is very essential to maintain the voltage profile at PCC remains constant, right? So the control algorithm that we are going to implement on this converter, so that this converter is always interacting with the utility grid, and hence the name what is called a grid interactive power converter or grid side power converter. Let us come to the control strategy. As you know that the three-phase voltage source inverter input is basically a DC and inverter output is an AC. So it has to handle both the DC variable as well as AC variable. So the control what we are going to implement on this grid interactive power converter, the main task is to manage the DC link voltage, is to maintain the DC link voltage constant. Because the DC link voltage the DC link voltage must be maintaining constant in order to have a proper power flow between the solar PV and the utility grid, because the active power must be maintained. Active power flow must be maintained and has to be regulated. If there is a mismatch between the source and the load power, then there is a problem of frequency variation, right? So DC link voltage control is very essential to maintain the power flow regulations. I mean the active power control. And moreover, it has to inject a controllable AC power in terms of active power and reactive power. Maybe the third option, maybe the grid side converter can act as a grid supporting device, as it can include certain ancillary services like voltage control, frequency control, and power quality as well. So sometimes the grid may not be available. When the grid is under fault, still the PV can feed power to the local load. Now the load is said to be under isolated conditions or under off-grid condition, right? So the option may be include for control during microgrid conditions as well. So as it has to handle the input parameter of the inverter is what is called DC voltage control, and the output power from the inverter is basically an AC. So it has to have a AC current control as well as AC voltage control. And moreover, the control option, as the grid is AC in nature, the control option on the AC power in terms of grid feeding or grid forming or maybe grid supporting, irrespective of the grid conditions. So in order to have a proper control flow, in order to have a linearized control concept between the DC and AC variable, we invariably uses the instantaneous reactive power theory. That is what is called the power theory. As the variables are transformed from ABC to alpha beta in the stationary reference frame in terms of DC coordinate, or maybe transformed in the natural reference frame in ABC, where we uses hysteresis current controller for inner current control, or maybe we uses the variables in the rotating reference frame as they are rotating synchronously with the inverter frequency, that is in terms of DQ, right? So as an electrical engineer, you should have a background on this instantaneous PQ theory in order to implement certain control algorithm on the inverter. Whatever be the control algorithm or whatever be the control technique we impose on this inverter, still maintaining the grid current sinusoidal is very difficult task, because 99% of the loads which are being connected at the point of common coupling is an electronic load. Basically, they are highly non-linear load. Due to non-linear nature of the load, grid current is always non-sinusoidal. Obviously, it introduces lower order harmonics. So whatever be the control technique we propose on this inverter, it has to impose certain harmonic limit for this PV inverter. In Europe, there is a standard what is called IEC 61727 standard. In US, there is a recommendation IEEE 519 draft 2014 standard. It meant for recommended practice and requirements for harmonic control in electrical power system. In addition to that, there is another important standard IEEE 1547 for a distributed energy resources integration with the capacity up to 10 MVA. Whatever be the standard you uses for grid interconnection, and still the total harmonic distortion of the grid current should not be higher than 5%. It should be less than 5% according to the harmonic limits imposed by either international standard, either IEC or IEEE. But still IEEE, it recommends the limit during steady state, and the IEC, it is exclusively for the industrial load, including transients. So most of the cases for our research purpose, we highly recommend IEEE 519 draft 2014 standard. It has been revised during 2014. Actually, this IEEE 519, it was I mean, formulated by an industrial specialist by IEEE during 1991, and then it has been revised during 2014 as the renewable energies are, I mean, emerging during 2014. So please remember that the THD of the grid current should be less than 5%. Accordingly, your control algorithm has to be implemented. Let us come to an important point in this control of grid side converter. It has to have a cascaded control loops. Cascaded control loop means it has an internal current control loop and external voltage control loop. Internal current control loop is very essential. I mean, the AC current control loop is very essential to regulate the grid current in order to provide an overcurrent protection to the inverter switches. As all of us know, inverter switches doesn't have any overload capacity, unlike inductor motor drive. So it has to be protected, or it has to be prevented against overcurrent whenever there is a sudden rise in current, right? And moreover, inner current control is also responsible for power quality improvement, because as I said earlier, whenever a non-linear load is connected at the point of common coupling, and inherently it introduces harmonics on the utility grid. So the power quality problem has to be mitigated with the help of inner current control loop. So it has to be designed with a larger bandwidth, as it importantly attributes for harmonic compensation. And the dynamic response of the inner current control loop is extremely important. In addition to that, it should have an external DC voltage loop, because external DC link voltage loop is very important to maintain the DC link voltage constant. As I told you that in order to balance the power flows between the source and the load, the DC link voltage control is very essential. However, the design aim for system stability with slow dynamics, still it can be designed with a lower bandwidth. Other control strategies maybe you can use the DC link voltage control cascaded with the inner power control, and again inner power control in terms of inner current control only, or it may be an outer power loop cascaded with inner current control loop. But 95% of the grid integrated PV system, we uses cascaded control loop, as it has an internal current control and external voltage control loop. This is the system architecture for the grid connected solar PV system, as it has a solar PV array as an input. Then the solar PV, it produces variable DC power, and that will be transferred to a DC link via DC to DC boost converter. As I said, the DC to DC boost converter is a very important converter on the source side in order to extract maximum possible power with the help of maximum power point tracking. So we sense the PV current and the PV voltage with the help of sensor. Then the signals are generated with the help of ARM Cortex microcontroller, so that necessary MPPT algorithm has been implemented here in order to change the duty cycle of the boost converter, so that the maximum power can be extracted that will be available at the DC link by changing the duty cycle. Then the power which is available at the DC link, that will be inverted into AC with the help of 3-phase 4-legged voltage source inverter. Then the controllable AC power can be injected into the utility grid via interfacing inductor and breaker switches. And the point at which we connect a non-linear load, what is called the point of interconnection or point of common coupling, we connect a linear as well as non-linear unbalanced load. Either it may be a single phase or a 3-phase load. For the control purpose, as I told you, that we sense the grid current and the load current and the DC link voltage, and all the signals which are being sensed by the sensor, that has been given to the DSP's 110 real-time controller. Then your control algorithm can be implemented with the help of MATLAB Simulink. Then that produces corresponding PWM pulses that will be given to a driver circuit. Then the driver circuit, it generates corresponding PWM pulses via deadbeat current controller or hysteresis current controller by maintaining the current within certain threshold, so that the control algorithm can be implemented in real time. This is the schematic diagram. And this is the subsystem architecture, as we have designed the solar PV array for 13.5 kilowatts power generation, having 18 number of cells in series and 3 cells are in parallel to have a maximum power of 13.5 kilowatts. And the DC link capacitor has been designed with 2257 microfarad. Assuming the DC link voltage or the DC output of the boost converter would be 690 volts. And the DC bus voltage, as I told you, that it has been designed for 690 volt. In order to have an inverter output voltage of 415 volt line to line, where M is the modulation, voltage modulation for the inverter. And the design of coupling inductor, because the coupling inductor has been incorporated in the inverter output to filter out the current ripple presence in the inverter current. So as the DC link voltage is 690 volt, and the switching frequency of the inverter is about 10 kilohertz, and the switching frequency is 10 kilohertz, so that we would be able to design the filtering inductor about 3.31 millihenry per phase. It is very essential to filter out the current ripple presence in the inverter switches. The corresponding boost converter design, as the boost converter, it is to boost 540 volt DC into 690 volt DC. Correspondingly, the duty cycle has been designed with 0.21. Someone might have unmuted the audio. Please mute your audio. Yes. And moreover, the boosting inductance would be designed with 4.52 millihenry. Considering the switching frequency of DC to DC boost converter is 20 kilohertz. Considering the current ripple of about 1.125%, because the change in the inductance current is very enormous because of the input power it is being extracted from the PV array. Further, the control algorithm what we are going to implement, as I told you, that the grid power is an AC power, it has an AC variable. Basically, they are instantaneously changing. So we are going to transform that ABC coordinates into the DQ transformation using path transformation. So we are transferring the ABC, the parameters in the ABC coordinates into DQ coordinates, so that there is a possibility of decoupling voltage and frequency component with the help of this transformation. So D stands for the direct axis component, Q stands for Q axis or quadrature axis component. Both are orthogonal to each other, right? So as we are transferring with the help of this path transformation matrix, which is available here, so that we have a ID and IQ component. ID component, it decomposed into average DC as well as oscillating AC component. Similarly, Q axis also having an average DC and oscillating AC component. As I told you that while transferring ABC to DQ transformation, of course, it also having an oscillating AC component. That is what is called a double frequency oscillation. That is what is called a double frequency oscillation. It is a 100 Hz component. So that has to be filtered out. That has to be filtered out. So we use a second order low pass filter for ID with the cutoff frequency of 5 Hz, so that we can decompose DC component of the active current, so that it has a active current component that is responsible for active power control. And this is the DQ based control algorithm, as the PV array that feeds power to the DC link capacitor via boost converter. Then the DC will be inverted into AC, that the AC power is available that can be injected into the utility grid via filtering inductor or interfacing inductor. And here we connect a non-linear unbalanced load at the point of common coupling. This point is a virtual point. It can be connected at any, because still the IEEE, they do not define the value of PCC very accurately. So PCC implies the point at which a non-linear loads are connected, right? And this is the three-phase AC grid. And moreover, as it has an inner current control and outer voltage control loop, you are setting the reference of this DC link is 690 volts, because we need to have an AC output voltage of 415 volts line to line. Then the DC link voltage must be at least 25% of the DC link, according to the pulse width modulation concept is concerned. That the actual DC link voltage is sensed by the sensor, then the actual DC link will be compared with the 690 volt reference voltage through low pass filter, because the DC link voltage, it always contains a double frequency oscillation that is called 100 Hz component, because the grid is always interacting with a non-linear load as the loads are connected at the point of common coupling. So there is a possibility of double frequency oscillation in the DC link. In order to filter out, we use the low pass filter. Then it compare, the error will be generated that is responsible for controlling an active power in terms of ID reference current. In addition to that, we sense the three-phase AC voltage, and we will take a two-phase AC supply, then that will be compared. Then the error will be given to the IQ component. IQ is responsible for reactive power control. Once the grid is under steady state or the balanced condition, grid doesn't need any reactive power support. The switch is left open circuited. It implies reactive current component is 0, so that there is no reactive power is injected into the utility grid. Moreover, grid is operating at unity power factor. But whenever the grid is under abnormal condition, or when the grid is connected with a heavy electronic load, then it needs the support of reactive power. Then IQ must not be 0. So we have an IQ and ID component. Again, that ID IQ must be transformed into ABC using the Park transformation. That is the way we generate the reference current, right? Then that the generated reference current is compared with the actual grid current, then the error will be generated. So please remember that the control algorithm what we implement on this grid side converter, the main motivation about implementing a novel or adaptive control algorithm is to generate the reference current very precisely. So how your control algorithm ensure reference current generation in an accurate manner. That is what the control algorithm differs from one to another, right? So how we are able to generate the reference current in an accurate manner. And moreover, in order to generate the reference current, obviously we are transforming DQ to ABC with the help of Park transformation. We need to have a unit vector generation, what is called the phi. That phi is what is called the phase angle of the utility grid. That contains only the fundamental frequency component, what is called the 50 Hz component. So that 50 Hz component must be detected, must be estimated as much as accurate. And moreover, it has to be extracted in a very faster manner, so that we uses an adaptive phase locked loop in order to extract this fundamental frequency or fundamental phase angle, because this phase angle estimation is very essential in order to transform ABC to DQ or DQ to ABC as well. This is what is called a grid synchronization, because with the help of this phase angle detection, we are able to synchronize the inverter frequency with utility grid frequency. That is what is called a grid synchronization. So corresponding the power transformation is available here. You can understand that by estimating phi, we are able to generate sin phi and the cos phi component. These components are called the unit vector generation or unit template generation. That is the way different control algorithm has been implemented. When the grid is under balanced condition, obviously we know we uses a 3-phase 4-wire system as to connect both to power both single phase as well as 3-phase. Then the neutral current is 0 when the grid is under balanced condition. But whenever the grid is under unbalanced, then the neutral current is not 0, and hence there is a circulation of the neutral current causes third harmonic current generated in the grid. And again there is a problem associated with losses in the transmission system, including interfacing inductor and transformer as well. As you know that the magnetic losses are directly proportional to square of the supply frequency, as it has a third order harmonic component, and again it increases the heat loss of the transformer as well. So third harmonic component must be rejected in the neutral wire itself, as it do not provide any do not provide any alternate bar. That is what most of the cases we use a 3-phase 3-wire system with the delta connected load, so that the third harmonic current can be circulated inside the winding. It do not interact with any other load, right? This is the control algorithm. This is the synchronization tool. Basically we uses phase locked loop as a 3-phase AC voltage are transformed into synchronously rotating reference frame in terms of VD and VQ. The D-axis component is for active power and Q-axis component is for reactive power. It implies even many of the researchers, they decompose for getting both positive sequence as well as negative sequence component, because the D-axis component is basically represent the positive sequence component as far as the symmetrical components concepts are concerned, because the positive sequence component is very essential for active power control. The negative sequence component is very essential to reject the harmonics presence in the grid current, right? so that we use as the positive and negative sequence. Then we are giving to the compensator based on the proper controller gain, and the error will be generated. Then that can be compared with the natural frequency, what is called a 50 hertz component. We are able to generate the value of omega. That omega can be integrated in order to get the exact phase angle of the utility grid, basically what is called the fundamental phase angle. Then it has to be worked in the closed loop manner so that it is able to track the fundamental frequency component of the utility grid. This is what is called the phase locked loop. And you can see the corresponding voltage equation for the three phase. Basically, it is instantaneous in nature. And this is the DC link voltage control. As the DC link voltage, the actual DC voltage will be compared with the reference voltage that will be given to the controller with the proper gain. Still, now my scholar is working on the optimized PI controller so that we are able to make the controller which is adaptive in nature whenever there is a sudden change in irradiance or sudden change in the load, so that we are able to regulate the DC link voltage constant. This is the corresponding error in the DC link current. This is the corresponding transfer function for the PI controller and the outer voltage loop controller. And this is the steady state response of the system without any controller. You can see that without any active harmonic filtering with the voltage source inverter with the controller, as we connect the three-phase diode bridge rectifier load, your grid currents are non-sinusoidal. And moreover, as the load current is still staircase, as we use a three-phase diode bridge rectifier load, still the grid current is non-sinusoidal. Once the controller starts working with the proper closed loop, then it is trying to inject a necessary compensating current. It is like an active power filter. It is able to compensate the harmonic current which is present in the grid current due to non-linear load, which is connected at the point of common coupling. So it tries to shape your grid current waveform sinusoidal. And when the grid current is changes from 28.6 ampere to 10.66 ampere, still it is able to maintain the dynamics of the inverter by maintaining a DC link voltage constant, because with the help of this outer DC link voltage control, the DC link voltage is maintained constant. It always follows the reference trajectory of 690 volts for all the case studies, even during steady state as well as during transient. And moreover, with this active harmonic filtering operation, still we are able to maintain the grid current constant and sinusoidal, and it is in phase with the grid voltage. And hence, there is a strong demand and the unity power factor operation of the utility grid, so that the unnecessary reactive power burden has been reduced, as it is acting as an active power filter. And you can see when the sudden change in current or sudden decrement in current from 28.66 ampere to 10.66 ampere, you can see there is a drastic changes in the active power as well, as the PV is also contributing certain amount of power, say 13.5 kilowatts at this particular at 0.2 seconds, so that it also contributes for perfect energy sharing. So due to this active power sharing capability, it also ensures an excellent energy management system between the solar PV and the utility grid. The corresponding PV voltage and the PV current is available here. And this is the transient response under unbalanced loading. As we connect an unbalanced nonlinear load, whenever there is a sudden change in current from 20 ampere to 34.37 ampere, still your grid current waveform maintain constant and sinusoidal, and it is able to regulate the grid current sinusoidally. And moreover, the DC bus voltage also can be maintained constant as it follows the reference trajectory. In addition to unity power factor operation of the utility grid, as the grid current waveform, grid current is in phase with the grid voltage at the point of common coupling. And this is the active power sharing, that the 24.82 kilowatts of the grid power that has been reduced to 11.44, because the PV is also contributing for the load demand about 13.37 kilowatts, so that it ensures proper power sharing. And moreover, as we use three-phase four-legged inverter, without the controller on this inverter, there is a strong circulation of the neutral current of the inverter. Once the control concepts are implemented for a three-phase four-wire system, then the neutral current has been well compensated with the help of three-phase four-wire system, so that the neutral current, it becomes zero, so that it does not causes any third harmonic current presence in the utility grid, so that it improves the power quality problem further. And still the load current, node neutral current that has been circulated, as we do not worry about the load, we are more concerned about the utility grid. So how to neutralize the third harmonic current presence in the utility grid, that we use the fourth leg of the inverter. Please remember that. And this is the laboratory setup or experimental setup that has been set up in this IIITTM Kanchipuram, Chennai, that has been funded by SERB DST, 1 kilowatts PV power, PV panel that is available here, that the outlet of this solar PV power is available here. Then that the power which is being given to a DC to DC boost converter. Then the boosted output power is given to the inverter, 3-phase PWM voltage source inverter via the DC link. And we have an interfacing inductor. This is what is called a 3-phase interfacing inductor. And the inverter output is connected with MCB, that it is virtually acting as a point of common coupling. Then that has been given to the line inductor via 3-phase auto transformer. Then the line inductor output will be given to 3-phase diode bridge rectifier load. Then the rectifier load is connected with the resistive load. So this is basically an unbalanced 3-phase AC load, so that we could be able to study different grid abnormalities. And that all the results are stored with the help of DSO. And moreover, the control algorithm has been implemented with the help of MATLAB Simulink in the host PC that generate corresponding PWM pulses that will be interfaced with the DSpace W104 microcontroller card, so that it is able to generate the PWM pulses. Then that will be given to the driver circuit, so that we are able to activate the switches on the inverter as well as the DC to DC boost converter, so that we could be able to make successful integration of the solar PV with the utility grid via DC to DC boost converter and a 3-phase PWM inverter. We see the corresponding experimental hardware result as we connect a 3-phase diode rectifier load. You can see the waveform is highly stepped wave. As without controller, the supply current waveform is highly distorted. Even the voltage waveform remains sinusoidal. And you can see, and moreover, due to unbalanced non-linear load connected at the point of common coupling, you can see the strong circulation of the neutral current. Moreover, you see the 3-phase supply current is highly distorted as we connect a 3-phase diode bridge rectifier load. With the help of this active harmonic filtering operation of the inverter with the suitable control, your supply current or the grid current waveform becomes sinusoidal, and moreover it is in phase with the supply voltage, and again there is a possibility of unity power factor operation. See the corresponding compensating current that has been injected by the inverter in order to compensate the harmonic current presence in the grid current due to non-linear unbalanced load connected at the point of common coupling. You can see all 3-phase supply current, it becomes sinusoidal. Moreover, the neutral current is well compensated. There is no neutral current. Obviously, the zero sequence component is absent here as we use the 4-leg inverter. And in addition to that, you can see the supply current and the supply voltage are sinusoidal. And more importantly, the proposed control technique, it also ensures the DC bus voltage stabilization even during sudden change in load or sudden change in irradiation as well. You can see the corresponding inverter, 3-phase grid current and 3-phase grid voltages. And this is with active power sharing, as I told you that along with the grid, and the PV is also contributing certain power level, so that it can also contribute for the power sharing. So throughout the scheme, still you can see there is a strong stabilization of the DC bus voltage, and it ensure zero neutral current and the grid, and also it maintain the grid current remains sinusoidal and it is in phase with the supply voltage. This is what the active power sharing features of grid interactive power converter with the advanced control technique. You can see the harmonic spectrum of the grid current as it injects only the fundamental current component, and without controller you can see it has a lower order harmonic component with a THD of 26.5%. With the help of the active harmonic filtering capability, the THD has been reduced to 4.67% drastically. And further, with the multi-purpose inverter, the THD has been further reduced to 4.40%. You can see it injects only fundamental current component of the 50 Hz. And moreover, it satisfies IEEE draft 519/2014 standard. That is a very important standard in the control technique. It has to satisfy. This is the transient response during state change in non-linear load. As you can see, there is a strong increment in load from here to here and a strong decrease, sudden removal of the load. Even whatever be the sudden increment in load or sudden removal of load or sudden change in irradiation, throughout the case, you can see that the DC bus voltage is maintaining constant. Okay. Moreover, the neutral current is well compensated, and the grid current waveform, it becomes sinusoidal. Even you connect a three-phase diode bridge rectifier load, but still your grid current waveform, it remains sinusoidal at in phase with the supply voltage. You can see the corresponding neutral compensating current injected by an inverter. This is the summary of experimental result. The simulation study, we could take about 13.5 kilowatts of PV panel, but still validate with similar simulation studies for experimental is very difficult, as we have a 1 kilowatts PV array in our laboratory. We could take 500 watts of PV as we have taken, and accordingly the solar PV current, it supplies 8.35 ampere. Then accordingly the parameters have been designed, including for the DC link voltage with the DC link capacitor and the three-phase non-linear load, and the supply voltage we could consider 60 volt RMS with 50 hertz supply. Accordingly, the experiments have been carried out. So it doesn't mean the parameters for the both experiment and simulation remain same, because as we could study for a different power quality event or different grid abnormalities, so we can scale down the experimental prototype, but still the results has to be converged. That's a very important thing. And we have worked with a number of algorithm on this, and we could able to publish a number of research papers, especially the similar work even with with Professor Nitin Gupta from NIT Jaipur. We could able to publish a number of research papers, including IEEE transactions on industrial application, IET power electronics, IET renewable power generation, and now recently one of my scholar paper got accepted in International Journal of Circuit Theory and Applications in equivalent journals from John Wiley. Still they are actively working in this particular area of research. The main objective of proposing such multi-purpose voltage source converter on the grid-tied solar PV system is to fulfill the following approaches. It has to attenuate the source current harmonics introduced by a non-linear load. Effectively, it serves as the neutral current compensator, as we use the fourth leg of the inverter, in addition to active power sharing according to the load demand of the non-linear load, as that has been supplied by a solar PV system via DC bus terminal. And there is a strong supplementary of power filtering, as the voltage source inverter with a suitable controller can also act as an active power filter to mitigate harmonic presence in the grid current due to the introduction of non-linear load at a point of interconnection. And these are the main objectives, so that by satisfying the grid connection requirement, we are able to integrate, or we are able to interface the solar PV system with the utility grid. So this is what the work we have done so far, and still we are actively working further, improving the capability of the grid-tied solar PV system during grid abnormalities, especially under grid fault condition. Because we haven't taken any attempt to find the solution when the grid is under fault condition, because under fault condition is a highly transient and very abrupt change in the grid voltage. We are actively working to find such a very robust control technique to improve the power quality, as well as to improve the power management when the grid is under fault condition. And these are the important things I have shared with you for past 1 hour. Hope participants might have understood about the grid integration of solar PV system, how this can be done experimentally with the help of a suitable control technique on this grid-tied solar PV system. Okay, thank you very much. And these are the key references we could be able to cite to find the research gap in this particular area of research. And thank you very much for your kind attention to listen to my lectures for past 1 hour. Thank you again. If you have any doubt, please let me know.
Yeah. So thank you, sir. Actually, thank you for a wonderful session, and the way you motivated, and then how you have taken the problem statement and how to set the objectives, and then how to achieve the targets, and then finally how to carry forward the simulation studies and experimental, and the way how we should give as a researcher, we should give a justification for our results and discussion and all. It's a really wonderful session, and I see very constant participation from the participants also. Nearly it's always it is more close to 50, more than 50 also I see the participants. Now, now the session is open for the question and answer now. I see there are two questions in the chat box, sir, actually.
Yeah, one question was Mr. Praveen Kumar Singh has asked that is these harmonic limits are for current drawn by the load from the grid or current injected by the source? Actually, these are the harmonic limit on the inverter, not the current drawn by the load. Because the load current profile, let it be anything, no issues and all. But the current which is being supplied by the grid, so the grid current waveform must be sinusoidal. We no need to worry about what would be the nature of the load current waveform, because the load is highly non-linear load. It is a diode rectifier load. Obviously, the load current would not be sinusoidal, but the current which is being supplied by the grid, that has to be sinusoidal. That is what. So when you connect a non-linear load at the point of common coupling or with the utility grid, that the grid current must be sinusoidal irrespective of the nature of the load current. That is what our intention. Understand? Mr. Praveen Kumar Singh. Next, how to generate negative sequence component, slide 19, sir. Yeah, actually, negative sequence component, it implies that whenever there is a harmonic injected into the utility grid, whenever there is a harmonic injected into the utility grid, means obviously the grid current is distorted, right? So in order to suppress that grid current, in order to minimize or in order to neutralize the harmonic component presence in the grid current, ultimately inverter has to inject such harmonic, that is a complementary component of that harmonics. That is possible by that is possible with the help of this negative sequence harmonic component. Negative sequence component, right? Sir, why stability is lost with the high renewable penetration with the grid following converter control system? Yes, obviously the system stability is lost with the high renewable penetration, mean because the source is highly stochastic in nature, and again grid is also again stochastic in nature. So power electronics converter cannot handle such an adverse situation. That is what we are working on it. How the converter control ensures stability? Obviously it can't when the grid is subjected to fault. That is what we are working on it. Understand? And moreover, even when the grid is under fault condition, obviously the grid fault condition, it also having impact on the converter control as well as the dynamics of the stability of the PLL as well. Obviously the PLL, it cannot estimate or it cannot track the fundamental frequency when the grid is under fault condition. Obviously the converter control, it also having impact on the stability of the PLL. Even many of the researchers, they are actively working on it, how to improve the stability of the PLL even when the grid is under abnormal condition. You know, this is another area of research. Okay, and to limit injection of these harmonics, photovoltaic inverters are equipped with filters so that the total harmonic distortion of their output is usually limited to acceptable value for the installation. I completely agree with it. Because no inverter can be directly feed power to the utility grid. It has to have either LC filter or LCL filter with active or passive damping. You know, that is another area of research. One of the professor from IISc Bangalore, Professor Vinod Jhan, he is actively working on this particular area to design an LCR or LC filter with active or passive damping for proper integration of solar PV with the utility grid via inverter control, right? Is the THD is depends on the load or the inverter? Is the THD depends on the load, means the load is a culprit to distort your grid current waveform. But as you are proposing an inverter with a suitable control, you are neutralizing the harmonic component. Obviously, the THD of the grid current, it depends on the inverter, not a load, because load is a culprit that is interacting with the grid. Again, the grid current is getting distorted. So irrespective of the load, THD of the grid current must be less than 5%, mean that largely depends on the inverter control. Inverter control with inner current control. Please remember that. Inner current controller that ensures the power quality improvement. And if the overall harmonic level exceeds acceptable limit, harmonic mitigation measures such as active or passive filter can be used. Obviously, if you are still the acceptable level of the harmonic, the limit exceed, means still we can use either active or passive filters. Yes, it is your 100% is correct. That is what I told you. No inverter can be directly connected with the utility grid. It has to have filters called LC or LCL combination. Okay, yeah. Any other doubt? Please let
One
me
more
know.
is there, sir. One more
Yeah,
is there from Krishna Mohan Reddy. Why microgrid has a micro turbine and diesel generator, even though we have battery to supply power during the intermittency?
Intermittency. Though we have
Yeah.
battery to supply power during intermittency, actually PV or wind turbine are non-dispatchable. Source is there any strategy to dispatch power from them? Sir, it is completely an hybrid energy system. And again, the combining wind turbine and PV along with the diesel, and moreover, also having a two mode of operation of the grid. When the grid is non-available, then the mode is going to be off-grid mode or microgrid mode. Obviously, now the energy system become hybrid energy, and also we uses diesel along with the battery. Obviously, this concept is quite difficult to answer at this stage, as we have done completely on solar PV system integration with utility grid. You know, for getting an exact answer for your your question, you please refer the Wind Electrical Systems by Costa. It is an Oxford University Press. Definitely you will get a complete idea about these hybrid energy systems without battery or with battery, with diesel or without diesel. Is it related to stability, sir? Obviously, stability is an important component. You know, that is what your renewable energy generation differs from the conventional energy generation. Conventional power generation, it ensures stability, as you have a controlling stability of the frequency as well as the voltage and the generating station itself. But here, stability is a problem, right? Because the grid is no more stable. And moreover, the grid like India, our Indian grid is very weak grid. So the grid, the grid frequency or the harmonics, it depends on the stiffness of the system impedance. Obviously, our grid is very weak grid. So ensuring the stability is very difficult as far as the Indian grid is concerned. Okay.
Sir, good evening, sir. This is Shankar from NIT Andhra Pradesh.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So I have a question, sir. Your session was very nice.
Okay,
actually,
thank
the
you.
question is in case of like a transmission of AC power, we need to have a phase angle.
Okay.
You know, the power transferred is P is equal to EV by X into sine delta. Where
Yeah.
you know, it's a conventional generators where we talk about the power transfer.
Okay.
Now, in case of solar integration, we are making all the time phi is equal to, I mean, the phase angle between the voltage and current equal to 0.
Yeah.
At this instant, if I like, you know, the basic law, whichever we say EV by X into sine delta, or is it the power transfer is because of voltage difference, like how the DC power is transferred? Is it like which is apt at this integrated system, sir?
Yes, sir. Yeah, because if you talk about now renewable power generation system, even nowadays when we are virtually eliminating the transmission line. To be frank, if you see the real conventional power system, it has a long distance transmission line, so the stability is imposed on the distance of the transmission line. Okay, but as far as the renewable power generation system, the systems are more become distributed. So distributed generation mean obviously we are virtually eliminating the transmission line, so that it causes so that it enhances the power system power system reliability and minimizing the line losses as well. So there the control is it is quite straightforward, but the decoupling control is a problem today.
No, sir. Actually, my question is, sorry, sir. Maybe I may have not answered properly. Actually, in case of AC transmission, if the power transmission, I mean, I'm talking about the power. In case of
power
AC
transmission is ED by sine delta, where sine delta is the load angle.
Load angle. Whereas, actually, to the grid, if I want to supply the power, is that leading, because we are talking about the integration of the voltage with in phase or drawing the currents in phase.
Sir,
just
yes, sir, that is what I am telling, sir. Your the power transfer capability of the power system or the transmission line, it depends on the line reactance. So the distance increases, ultimately it has the line reactance has an impact on the power flow, right?
Yes,
right or not? Yes, sir. Power is inversely proportional to the line reactance.
Yes, sir. Other parameters, you just assume that it is constant, sir. Now the question is, my question is, actually the transfer of electrical power from A to B depends upon the phase angle in case of AC transmission. In case of DC transmission, it is a voltage difference, na sir.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, in case of DC transmission, it was
Yeah,
now
yes,
in
it is
case of
simply
grid integration.
Yeah,
In case of grid integration,
yeah.
whether do we have a phase shift here also? Like current has to be shifted ahead, or we have to do any shifting property here when we are giving back the power to the grid.
Yes, sir. I understand that. What would be the possibility for integrating, making either phase difference or voltage difference, right? Yes. And
Yeah,
here,
yeah. What is happening here in integration?
yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir. Obviously, there is a phase angle difference. It causes the power flow from source to the load, sir.
Okay, okay. Then why like we are talking about the unity power factor here?
Sir, unity power factor means that nature of the load which is being connected at the point of common coupling.
Okay, okay. I mean, when it is drawing.
Yeah, when it draws means when the load is highly inductive in nature, then the grid draws reactive power. When the load is highly resistive in nature, power factor become unity. When the load is highly capacitive in nature, then it supplies reactive power.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, that's all about. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So thank you very much, Dr. Sandeep. Should we wind up the session?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, we can do that. And if no further questions, then I will conclude this session formally with proposing vote of thanks. Yes, sir. It's a good interaction with the participants. I like it. And I think with your permission, now I will go with a vote of thanks.
Yeah, please.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Yeah. So let me take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks formally. On behalf of IEEE Power Electronics and Society and Industry Application Society, Power and Energy Society Joint Chapter, Vizag Bay Section. And we thank very much today's speaker, Dr. Chitti Babu from IIIT DM, Kanchipuram, Chennai, who has spared time his busiest schedule to deliver expert lecture to our technical community. And sir, actually your talk enlightens our participants about advanced research in particularly grid-side solar energy systems, and it's a really wonderful session that we had today. So thank you very much, sir. And I would like to take this opportunity to place on record to our heartful thanks to Dr. Lakshmi Narayana, chair of IEEE Vizag Bay section. Also extend my thanks to section execom and chapter execom members for attending this extending their support and then encouragement in all possible ways. And I thank invited guests from various institutes, organization, industry, and thank you very much for joining with us today. And last but not least, I thank all the participants from various parts of India for attending this program and who made this program a grand success today. Thank you very much. And I hope the participants also will keen into our programs, future programs, and they will make our programs very successful in the future also. Thank you all. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sandeep. Should I leave the session?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, thank you all. And generally, these talks, whatever we are arranging by our joint chapter, actually we are placing the video lectures in our section YouTube channel. So you can go to our section website. There is a link for video, all the videos of our talks also. So that link will direct you to the YouTube channel. So if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, I hope you will be able to get the instant updates also. So let me post this website address also. 1 minute. Yeah. So I posted the web link. So in this web link, you will find our talks videos and all. Yeah. So within I think 2 to 3 days, we will upload this lecture also. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. And next lecture we have scheduled on the 13th, this Saturday. Same timing 6:30 to 7:30, and the speaker will be Dr. P. Shankar from NIT Andhra Pradesh. Thank you.